Hello, good evening. Thursday night lockdown again. Thursday again. Where's the time going? Right. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for being part of tonight's show. Don't forget, at any point you want to come on live, you're more than welcome. And the topic, the subject tonight are where are your paranormal experiences? It can be your spiritual experiences as well. And where did they take place? What I've got behind me, there's castles, there's asylums, your home, graveyards. What have you experienced, and what really want you to tell me what you've encountered? Because I feel a lot of people hang back and don't say as much as really what went on and really how they connected, and was it an overpowering energy? Was it an energy that really shook you up, or was it an energy that really opened your eyes? Was it an energy that's a spiritual contact that was basically, again, I always say it's the wow factor. It's like, did I just see that? Did I just experience that? Good evening, Mr. Bliss, and good evening, Tasha. How are you? Again, if anyone wants to come on, you're more than welcome. Again, it's open mic hour, and this is basically for you to come along, have your say, have your chats. Tell me what you've experienced in certain places, in certain locations as well. I know a lot of people, when they're relaxed and they're in an open chair evening, reading or whatever in their own house, when they experience stuff, it's basically they don't say a lot. A lot of people really don't say what they're connecting with. A lot of people don't say what they're coming along and encountering. And when was this experience that you've had? When was this encounter that you've had? Again, a lot of things on your path which you might not even know it, or to understand what spirit's trying to do and work with you, communicate with you, put some insight into what's going on in and around your present moment at time of what's going on in and around you. Yesterday, there was a celebration of a 75th birthday. I won £75. Wow, how does that happen? Do you know what I mean? It's just all these coincidences and everything. So, any questions? Fire away. I mean, I know, Tash, that you're a very open person to receive from spirits. Sometimes I do see you get bombarded too much, too quick, too soon. So it takes a while to decipher when you're working openly with spirit and your crown, or your third eye's open. It's just sometimes there's an overload of spirit sometimes. So you've got to learn a way of just asking them to step back and filter through one at a time. So we'll see where we're going. Tash is actually saying you've had a lot of various spiritual spirits at home, but when I was out and about, it varied depending on the location. Tell me about them. Tell me about what really started the topic and the subject. What really intrigued you with what you was learning, and what really opened your eyes. I mean, I know a lot of people that's going way back, that they've watched the films, they've watched certain scenarios of what's happened within a film, and then they've had like snippets of things that's come in and around that's gone, well, that was quite like that scenario. So there's sometimes it can be a real loop of certain energies at a certain time of year as well. So even when I was a youngster and I watched a certain horror film, and I'm not a real one into the horror films because I deal with things as and when they come up, and I deal with things at each time as it occurs as well. So let me know what has occurred in and around you. And again, thanks for sharing. Tasha, she gets too bombarded. You feel you find it's quite, I can filter them afterwards. Yeah, just ask your team just to filter one at a time in and around the house. And this was a lady that put this question to me on last week's show, and she said, what's the experiences of what's gone on in and around your home and stuff like that? And I just thought, well, that would be a good topic and subject. I had about maybe 6 or 8 weeks ago, ongoing around that period. I've got about an 8-foot poster, and it's in an 8 segments part, and the 8 segment part, the same part came off 3 nights on the run, even though it was secured, and it was secured on the wall. So that same square of that poster came off 3 nights on the run. It was just bizarre. And in the end, I just said to spirits, please stop it. I know you're here. Come and communicate with me. You don't have to do that. I will acknowledge you. I have acknowledged it. I acknowledged it on the first night. That experience was about 2 o'clock in the morning. And again, even when you're running through your general day, it can be quite overpowering as well. I only have to drive past certain locations and I start linking in. And when I'm switched off, I'm switched off as well. So anybody that's not give Facebook permission, just click on the link above on the blue StreamYard tab, and then they'll be able to see your name. I presume that's you, Mother. Hello again, Nikki. I mean, I see certain places where people post and teams put up, oh, we'll be going here in a few weeks' time, we'll be going there. And I start linking into the spirits then, sometimes that's in down the street or in and around the building and the location as well. Where are we up to there? Anybody wants to come on? Hello, Mark. Hope you're all right. Glad to have you along on board, Gemma. And I know over the years, I mean, many years ago, I mean, I know a lot of people have been to Denby Asylum. We drove past it a few months back, myself, Karen and Eddie, and we just sat outside basically, and it's getting renovated. But again, spirits are calling you there. They're talking to you. They're communicating with you as well. So give me some of your experiences. I want off the cuff stuff. Let's really open up now. Let's be honest, and I want to know in what way you dealt with it, and what way you found it intriguing to say, did that just really happen? Did that really go on? I mean, I've worked with a lot of technical people, and the best way to work in and around with spirit is the naked eye. And it is with white light. It is basically, if you see something in natural light, that is an amazing capture. And a lot of people say, oh, I had a full apparition of this. Have you had any full apparitions? I went to Pen y Lan, and I gave, prior to that happening, I knew someone was going to walk down the corridor, basically in the top floor. And I said, oh, there'll be some type of apparition tonight. Somebody will see this spirit energy virtually in full form. And an arm came through the wall as we were investigating in the one room as well. And a member of the public virtually ran out the room. So, how's things, Mark? Hope you're all right. Nikki, again, just putting your names up. Tell me about your experiences. What really got you into all this? Even walking around the abbeys, the land, and everything else. Where you're all tuning in from. And Karen says, give everybody else StreamYard permission. Hello, Janine Baker. I am fine. I am, as they say, itching, raring to go. Again, let's get out there and do what we do best. I really, really do enjoy it. If you'd like to come on, just let me know and we'll send you a link. If there is any spammers that come along, please do not go anywhere near the spammers. Please work it out. Hello, Mohammed. Hope you're well, young man. And Sheffield, had quite a bit of snow out there as well. There must be some quite in the hills out there as well. You've got like it go towards Buxton and all that as well. I've come over some of them back roads many moons ago, and there's some quite amazing places around that neck of the woods, around Sheffield as well. And Snake Pass as well. That's a quite scary road as well. And even when I'm driving, I've been down that road as well over the years. You pick up on spirit as well. So, what's your experience then? Anything that you've had, Mohammed? I mean, some of the things one of the first locations you seem to go to is like a prison, and then a lot of things happen even prior walking into that building and location. There was another scenario the other week when I was off. I was off for a week, and again, you get drawn to places. I've seen something around Shepton Mallet's being turned into possibly homes or development down there as well. So again, I'm already itching to go down and get to Shepton Mallet and work and communicate with spirit. And everywhere we go and seem to be in and around, there's always the spirit energies that's waiting to work with us. Let me touch back on last week. Now, last week I had a scenario of being woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Not a lot of energies come into my house unless they've been invited. I had an energy from a very weighted energy that tried to basically drain you, basically. And within a couple of minutes, I had another spiritual team member come in and scoot that energy off. Do you sense anything like that yourselves? Do you pick up on anything that you think, how have I dealt with that? Do you put your own protection up straight away? Shepton Mallet is 10 minutes away there. And Tasha has got links to Shepton Mallet Prison as well. I did sign the petition to hold back on the development there as well at the moment. Can't wait to go to Shepton Mallet. Yes, we're all going to Shepton Mallet. Yes, we are going to Shepton Mallet. I'm sure we might get a link. I'm not too sure whether it's a public event or a team event. I can't remember off the top of my head. It is going to be made into housing. Right, okay. Let's see where we're going. 3rd of July. Yes, I am, Nikki. All fingers crossed and everything as well. Yes, 3rd of July is a public event, so get on to Keep It Paranormal and have a little look at that. First time I went was with our lovely Alison, and boy, did we have an interactive night as well. Hello, Facebook user that's saying hello, Gary. Let's see where we're going. Alison, where was your experiences? Where did you first encounter spirit? Again, don't forget this open mic session, folks, is for you to come on and have your say. It's for you to come on and interact. It's for you to come on and have your speech and tell me about these experiences, because as a medium, we interact, we have all this all the time. And again, I want to know around the sensations and what you've received spiritually, and the understanding of how you've dealt with certain things. That's what I'm interested in, because it's your topic, it's your subject of how you deal with things in your life, and that's great. And if you don't want to share, that's fine. I don't mind that. Oh, it's you, Linda. Linda, where did you go? I've been waiting for you all night. I thought you was on your way. You need to click the blue tab on the StreamYard. Right, okay. That's it. Okay. Right, where else have we got? Another experience. Where did we go? Just trying to think where it was. I know it's in Manchester. There's a black and white building in Manchester. I'm sure it's in, and that, I'm just trying to think. It was very active. We walked into this place, the black and white Tudor building in Manchester, and it was virtually like all the spirits had just gone to one end of the building, and it was quite bizarre. But it was like there was an order given. Oh, there's not public coming in, but there's people coming in, and it's late at night. They shouldn't be here. So sometimes you can get spirits that don't want to interact, but within half an hour, it just seemed to go absolutely a lot of interaction. And sometimes as well, they need to get to know you. Your first experience was at home. Thank you. We are now 16 minutes in. Tell me more, Alison. Was it a bang? Was it a knock? Was it a bump? Did you hear noises on the stairs? It's that type of scenario as well. It's all about how you deal with it as well. Ooh, what do you think about True Crimes Museum? I've not been there yet. I have seen a few museums that have caught my eye. And again, so I think somebody put one around an air museum the other day, and they'd done a virtual tour, and even spinning the virtual tour around on Facebook, I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Not as much as the building, the energies that are there. So tell me more what happened, Alison. Where do you want to go, Nick? The True Crimes Museum. You love the artwork. Yes, it's I should have got them coloured in on this side, but it's actually, the asylum is actually, that is actually Denbigh. That's better. So that's Denbigh. Normal Castle, the graveyard, the house and the home as well. It's just, I mean, obviously when like me and Linda have been for little walks and that, and we pick up stuff prior, just as even if we're approaching it, we get that as well. A lady used to come and sit on the bed always. That's excellent. And this is what I'm after, Alison. This is what I'd like to get your first experiences. But don't forget, this is what gets us hooked. This is what gets us really intrigued in what we do and why we do it and why we go down the paranormal path and why we go and listen and watch certain topics and subjects that's on the telly in around this subject as well. So lady used to come and sit in the bed, hearing her walking around, moving things, etc. Do you find it as well, Alison, in and around with that? Would you find certain objects, like on a dressing table, you'd set it out how you'd like it, and then the next morning you get up and one or two other objects seem to be shuffled around, possibly as well, because there is quite a lot of that going on from energies that, if they've been in and around that house, or they've owned that house, or they've had links with that house, and they used to look after it or anything, or own it, or work there, they would set things out in their own way as well. Let's see where we're up to. True Crimes. A weird energy in it as well. Where's that actually based for us, Mark? I have heard of it. I can see you now, Linda. You're up to speed. Good evening, Ivan. How are you? And again, also as well, when you do go out on the investigations, it's totally true. The people you go with will bring certain energies as well. So to me, different energies will come out and play and basically interact with who they respond with, in a way of what you bring to the table. If they're quite like-minded with you, they will bring that type of energy as well to the forefront of what's going on the evening as well. Hey up, Dave. Hope you're all right, young man. Tell me about your first experiences. Was it at home? Was it in a castle? Was it in a graveyard, asylum? Was it down your local pub? That always seems to be one as well, when people are relaxed and they're unwinding, they've had a busy week, they're having a pint, and then they start seeing things in their own local, and then just interacting. As you know, sometimes a lot of people see a lot of animals in these old pubs as well, because they would have had pets in the days. So excuse me. So certain times, sometimes you'll see things out the corner of your eyes in these old public houses as well. Some of these places have been turned into hotels, and you know, added on with different wings and all that as well, and sleeping quarters, and so they are quite interesting when you break the level of layers down of what's gone on there in the past as well. Your old house, Mark, was an RAF site. Right, okay. As again with that, the old RAF bases, the old RAF locations. I'd done an old RAF house up by me. One of the most active nights I've ever had. We took the team there, and it's quite a lot of links with Vauxhall's car plant in Ellesmere Port. And originally Vauxhall's car plant was an old RAF. Used to be a runway on there as well. And we've seen the pilots when I used to work in the car plant. So we have seen a serviceman walking through the place. So that must have been in between about 1993 to 2002. So it was about a 10-year period down there in this certain building that was quite eerie when you was on a night shift, certain times of the year as well. So there has been a lot of sightings down in certain old factories as well. And a lot of these factories now, they've been renovated and, you know, in updated and stuff like that as well. So I always find over the years, a lot of these buildings, when the activity starts, is because something's being altered in and around it as well. So anyone want to come online, you're more than welcome. We can have a good chinwag because it's your hour. Again. Right, let's see. RAF House. Yeah, okay. On the house that I actually investigated used to be one of my boss's houses as well when I was growing up as a youngster. So I had visited this house as a kid, well away. I must have been 16, 17. And I returned there about 2 or 3 years ago. And that was really amazing just to see the same energies are there. And also, if anyone's been to Ellesmere Port and down the Boat Museum, the canal basins as well, a lot of people do pick up a lot on the canal walks and through the tunnels right in the basin at Ellesmere Port. There's so many old buildings there. It's mind-blowing what you can see even in the daytime and communicate with. And again, I know people have owned property there on the back of the museum, and they've donated one of the 2 properties over to the museum as well, which was always nice to see. It's nice to see people giving back. But when we actually went there, to me, it's just the Victorian days. So much at the minute is going on around I'm seeing so much from the Victorian days at the present. Last couple of weeks, there just seems to be so much coming through from the Victorian days. Thank you for that, Tash. Let's see what she's got to say. My house was visited by a gentleman who used to live there. I met him a few months before he died. It was a week on poltergeist activity before he reowned, and he didn't like it. Also, as well, I've had people when I've lived in properties knock on the door and say, "Oh, I used to live here." Happened with my first terraced house. Now, them houses possibly were built when the Manchester Ship Canal was being built, the early 1890s. So my first terraced house, I had people knocking on the door. They used to live here, not to come in, but just to say, you know, how's things going. And used to have a lot of activity in the terraced houses. So I can relate with people knocking back up on the door and saying hello and all that as well. But just at the minute, the period for me that's sticking out, it is like the 1890s all the way through the Victorian days to about 1920, 1930. I will do, if you could inbox me that, Mark, that would be great. And I will have a little look at that. So I'll put that on the bucket list. I'll tell you what, make a note of it now. And I love the old RAF places as well. I've just actually done tonight, I've just done 4 Spitfire pictures and framed them black and white. So I've got, I've got a big connection at the minute with the RAF and all the black and white days in and around the pictures and the history as well. So I am drawn to that as well. Hello, Barry, how's things? But I've written note of that as well, and I'll put RAF and I'll put Mark by it so I can recall that as well. I mean, sometimes as well, some of the experience people contact me with of what they've experienced, it's like the breakdown, to break it down and filter it through to the understanding of trying to explain to somebody. So this is why I feel I'm drawn to doing this evening, is there's a certain situation or a certain scenario that somebody's experienced that they can relate and work around. There is a lot of people that I know that sit behind the scenes and don't say anything when they're watching the shows. And they might watch them in 2 or 3 weeks' time on YouTube and catch up and stuff like that. and then they'll contact me and they'll say, well, this did really happen, Gary, and I'm very quiet and I don't like to say much, but again, it's your hour. Hello, Barry. How's things? Hello, Eddie. Right, see what David's got. Love all the interaction. Love all the interaction. Keep it coming thick and fast, folks. More questions you ask, the more we can cover. First experience was in the flat. Microwave would switch on by itself. The TV volume would turn up and down. No one near it. The flat was near an old brewery. And even, I know it's, I mean, even just looking at that and your comments, David, it's just like, I know I'm not putting my own thoughts in it. It's like I can hear the barrels being dropped down and clinking and clanking down the shaft of into the cellar there as well. So I'm hearing like the delivery man bringing the old barrels at the moment, and like the clunking and the clicking of the caskets. That's what I feel at the moment as well. You might even get somebody coming forwards even back from that time and that period to work with us or work with yourself that's in and around as well. I do feel that something's coming back up that's going to bring that topic and subject back up. The other night, I don't get a lot going on with the tellies coming on or switching off or turning over. I was woken about 6 o'clock the other day, and this telly in the kitchen on the hinged wall bracket that was on mute, so I'd left the telly off, and it actually come back on. So that's the first time that's ever happened in this property, and I've been here 27 years, and that happens about Tuesday or Wednesday morning. But that's the first time. But I think I had the volume on mute, and I think it's just over time it's come off. That's how I feel. So see where we're going. But again, a lot of people are experienced with what they've gone through the last 12 months. They are noticing a lot of things going on in their own environment. Your flat was haunted by a spirit. You heard a noise in the flat, fella. The spirit touch it on the head. You're not scared of it at all, and that's what it's about. It's all about raising your awareness to certain things, acknowledging it, and then it won't pester you or be as much as a pain. In and a way round, if you give the spirit the acknowledgement, that's what they're after. So whichever way they come forward after the acknowledgement, this is what I'm after, about responding back to it, and this is why I'm trying to touch on this subject. It's how you respond to it that counts. Can you tell me when you're sleeping, your body jumps for a second? It jumps quite often. Usually when you're just relaxing and unwinding, that's when you are getting open to receive from the spirit. You might have a position where you're ready for spirits to come forward and communicate with you just as you're relaxing. And I always say it's the state of the mind. When you're relaxing, as a medium tries to work, they try and clear the mind. So as you're clearing your mind at night, the twitches might be a spirit trying to come in too quick, too soon. I do the transfiguration. I do the trance side of it with spirit, but just ask your guide if you think it's anything spiritual, just not to do that. Just say it's not the time and place. Work with me in a different way. So you work with your team, Mohammed. You be in control of what you want going on in your four walls as well. In and around. If you don't want any activity like that, or you don't want anything that might just be trapped nerve, it might just be resting in a certain position that's having that situation happen as well. So work with it, see how it goes. It's always a breakdown. It's always a process of elimination, and that's what you're trying to do. And this is what I'm trying to say about things as well. Barry also hears spirit. You're seeing spirit through the naked eye as well. And again, it's all about, I do feel that people are quite shocked when they have that scenario. I do feel that people, I feel like you would naturally hold your breath. It's like, did that just go on? did I really see that? It's not about the self-doubts. It's when it's full on and it's really happening. It's like, I want more of that, but I don't want more of that. I want more of that. I want more of that to happen. But sometimes it can be too quick, too soon as well. So what was the first time that you actually seen, Barry? When was the first time you seen the spirit? I do a lot of house clearances, and there's some energies that you have to filter through to understand what's going on in a property or a location. Okay. Your granddad was in the First World War, fight 2 wars in the second, and in the Second World War as well. Amazing. I know there's a gentleman in my back room. Again, he's a descendant family member. I see him. I see black and white with spirit, so it's hard to describe the uniform. I do feel it's either the grey of like the RAF, or it could be the green. But he's always got his back to me, and I'd say I've not seen him for about 2 years. But I do know he's there on certain development nights. So again, I feel he's the Irish side of the family link. So again, what happened with our family, it got divided from the Dublin area of our family base to like the County Derry side of it, and the north and the south got divided. But through the powers of Facebook, I've actually linked all our family members back up, which has been amazing. And that's what it's all about. It's all about that connection. The communication these days is, the world's getting closer. It's not further apart. But the power of the internet is bringing us all closer. So Tasha, oh yeah, how many people have had the lamps blown? Always the nearest to you. When you're right and you're working with spirit as well. Also with the, I picked up a new piece of a new item, electrical item today, and I got a shock off it. I was like, well, it's only like 2 days old. I was like, whoa! And I got a belt off it. I got a real, to be honest, I got a real crack off this new electrical equipment, and I was just like, whoa, that's powerful. It's just like, have I done something of it? Is there any water on it or anything? And there wasn't. So again, sometimes when you can have that static energy can build up in and around you as well, where spirits are watching over you, watching what you're doing as well. So again, to feel the presence of spirit over your shoulder. Again, tonight a lot of the topic has been in and around your 4 walls, which is great, and this is what we're after. They converted the brewery into flats. We lived very interesting though. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I went out with a team in Cheshire, and we was one of the first people to go back down in the basement. Had been closed for a good 30, 25 years, 20 years, something like that. And that was quite eerie. It was quite eerie just going in the cellar on your own and just sitting there. It was the old storage part of the cellar, so that's why they closed it off, because it didn't have the capacity to meet the volumes of what they needed last year or the year before. But in the cellar was totally different as well. Good evening, Janice. Hope you're well. Your first experience you had was as a baby in a lorry going to New Gardens. You could see fires and houses, just rubble. There was supposed to be nothing like that in the war, and you was only 4 years old before. But, yeah, Port Sunlight Village. It's about 10 miles from me, possibly, on the Wirral. Lady Levers, or Lord Leverhulme's, he built them for the workers. And sometimes I go around and just on a little walk. They've done a bit of filming there for Peaky Blinders. And you're walking around and you see certain images of the flashes of it. They've been bombed out. And I know there is books on Port Sunlight Village and the history of Port Sunlight Village. And when you walk around there, I kept seeing the flashes of back in the day, again, the Second World War and the bombs and all that as well. And even on the local peninsula, they have the turrets of the concrete turrets where they'd have like just the guns out over the River Mersey and stuff like that, protecting the coastline. So there's a lot of stuff like that. But when I walk around Port Sunlight Village, I do see a lot how it's been damaged in the day from the Second World War and been rebuilt. The people that I know that's owned property on there is on a marshland. So originally it's always cold, it's always freezing. You can't, because it's grade one grade one listed. They can't alter it. But have a little look into Port Sunlight Village, folks. Amazing place. Just to even walk around, it's like going back 100 years in time. So if you're up this neck of the woods, we can always have a little walk around there as well. But yeah, can definitely relate to that, Janice, as well as the little flashes. 4 years old though, I feel like that's the real early process. The brain starts really remembering about 4 or 5. I think my first memory was of 5 years old. Again, yeah, that was definitely 5 years old was my first memory. A lot more happens in your spare room. Curve of the eye moments too. I feel it now, Linda. I feel that you've got to, I would safely say, face your fears. It's like, yeah, all right, you've been doing this for long enough. It's like, bring it on. Let's do what I need to do now. All right, head up high, walk tall. And I think the interaction that we're going to get over the next 5 or 6 months when we're getting out and about, I just think it's going to be amazing. But I think even when you look back, I think you've had this rest period now for a reason. And I think it's really time that you will step up to the mantle now is how I'm feeling. It's up for you to control that bedroom, Linda. It's up for you to control them movements and pushing energies out as well and protecting your property as well. Moving on. Oh, skipped up too much. Excuse me. I will catch up with your comments. I mean, David, he lived in a market town called Bradford upon Avon. The barns, Saxon Church, etc., was a lovely place to live. And again, I feel like even the heightened energies as well would be uplifted in the summer months. You know, when everything's good, everything's rich, and the people are earning the money, earning the corn in them summer months as well. So it is amazing, even when you go to Warwick Castle. I was watching a show last night, and somebody lived in Warwick, and I could see a building straight away in Warwick, and again I was drawn back to it, spiritually seeing it. So I'm jumping all the time. So if somebody's talking like, say, York, I'm if between a place from now to York, I'm seeing that town as I'm going through it. So it could be like Bolton or Manchester or anything on the path. I'm jumping as I'm on the way there spiritually. So the connection and the link, it can go from town to town and city to city as well sometimes. Oh, you're welcome, Mohammed, anytime. That's what it is. Ask the general questions. If I can't help, there's people in and around. But again, it's all about sharing and the understanding as well. And again, it is all about debunking. The amount of times we will just debunk and debunk and debunk. Was this, was this, that? If it's a yes or a no, was it related to this? Was it related? If you don't ask the questions, it's all about asking the questions. And that's why the question marks are all over there. It's because how you decipher it and understanding of what's going on in and around it is the most important thing. I've just been outside before. I had a cup of tea and I just got a bit of fresh air for a couple of minutes. It's virtually a full moon again. And I'm like, wow, the power of that. I went out 2 nights ago and there was a big, massive circle around the moon. But the energy is so heightened. It gets heightened around the full moon as well. Linda, experiences more than no, yeah, covered that one. Just moving down to Mark. say hi to them and tell you you see them. You can do that as well when you talk to spirits. You don't have to say it out loud through the mouth. You can just say it in the mind, because they pick up on the energies and the thoughts that's going on, because everything within the brain is an energy field, and spirits usually pick up, especially the intelligent ones, know prior to what you're thinking, prior to what's going on, prior to what's happening, because as soon as you put a thought in your mind, that's usually understood and read as a spirit. So the spirit can link in, watch you, monitor you, work out what's going on in and around you before you've actually said anything, because as you're thinking stuff in your mind, the electrical virtual currents of that can be picked up by very intelligent spirits as well. Again, it's the link and the bonds. When your energy pack is in a room and there's a spirit energy in that room, you're making the link, you're making the connection. You might not see or sense that spirit, but that spirit knows that you're there. So that, to me, that spirit is doing its homework. That spirit is doing the breakdown on you, what you bring to the table, what are you all about as well. So spirits will check you out and know the background of you, even prior to you going, even prior to you getting there. They will do things prior to you getting there as well. These are all the experiences of going to your castles, going to your different homes, doing the house clearances, walking around the cemeteries, walking down the country lanes, walking down by the canals. This is what I'm saying. Spirit have the intelligence and knowing where certain people are going to be at certain times, even though then people are just living, getting on with their lives as well. Yeah, so acknowledge them even in your mind. Just acknowledge them. Thank you again for your interaction. Anyone wants to come on, just drop me a line and our Karen will sort it. Excellent. Again, a lot of people have their own routines. So what I'm trying to share with you is, it's not all about me. It's like we've been there, seen it, done it, worn the t-shirt. We've come across so much in the field over the last 10 or 12 years. It's when you interact and work with yourself over the next 5 or 10 years as well. It's like you'll be amazed how much you can adapt, develop of what you've learned. Now, this is where I'm trying to come from, is that once you've experienced certain stuff, it's not about asking that to happen and follow you on. It's working out what's coming next is what I'm trying to work with. So you can virtually preempt in and around things spiritually coming around prior to them happening. Once you get in the link and in the zone, you have the understanding to receive. When you're understanding to receive spiritually and working and connecting in and around the energies, does it feel like this straight away? Is it weighted? Is it cold? Is it warm? You get that feel of what it's going to bring to the table, even around when you're visiting a National Trust museum or you're visiting English heritage place. You get to know what's coming in and around prior to it happening. So it's like you work spiritually, which you've all experienced. When you're working spiritually, it's like going to the next chapter before it's happened. So you've read chapter 1, which you've all experienced. You've had these experiences out there, folks. When you're experiencing this, you can jump to chapter 6 or 7 prior to reading chapter 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is what I'm trying to say, is you can step up to the mark, step further ahead prior to things happening, and push yourself, test yourself, because you've had this experience and you've received the intelligence of spirit. Doesn't matter what it is, even if a marble's moved off the table, you're in and around and you are getting responses. So when you're getting responses, you can jump chapters ahead in the field, in the name of the game, and heighten your ability to work out what's going on, because that gut intuition of the energy that's in and around you, these are the experiences. You get to know what they're bringing to the table. They know what you're bringing to the table, so they know what you're about. So when that's happening, this is like I shut things down 2 weeks ahead. So I only want to know what's going to happen over the next 2 weeks in and around my gut intuition and what my team's telling me, because I don't need to know too much. So 2 weeks after that, I'll be into another zone. All right. So when we're over the next 14 days, as I'm getting closer to the 14 days, I will get the gut intuition of what's going on in and around spiritually for the next 2 week bracket. So again, you can work in different ways. Try it. Then people that investigate, then people are getting out there, and you want to receive, and you might not want things happening Monday to Friday. Just let your team know, and then say, right, when I finish work on a Friday, yeah, let's come and interact. You'd be amazed how much it works, but you can use the intelligence of spirit. You can use the universe as well. So crystals as well, big believer in. Some people sleep with crystals under the pillow, next to them on the bedside table. And your nan and your mother, let's see where we're going there. Your mother showed herself to me in the corner of the living room, in the bedroom. Yeah, a lot of people, some people have like empty chairs, rocking chairs in bedrooms and stuff like that. And you'd be surprised how many spirits will actually sit and relax and unwind and watch little ones in the room. And it's their corner, it's their niche. There's so many things that you can see so many times where you're looking and you're working spiritually on house clearances. You can see a green rocking chair. You can see that there's a baby's cradle in the corner and a cot and stuff like that. So when you link in, you can remote view as well into a room, even though you don't have to visit it as well. It's about 5 or 6 times that you've seen her in spirit. Again, I would say there, Barry, even ask a question in your mind and say, oh, can you come to me in the next day or two if you'd like that to happen? And just say, if you're coming along, my darling, can you just put your thumb up for me that you've acknowledged and you've seen each other? To me, she will be virtually part of the female side of her, will be your part of your team. So again, when you're working spiritually, just ask her, are you part of my team? Just ask her to put a thumb up, but ask in your mind, test spirit, push them to the limit in a way with the respectful side of it. So what I'm saying is it works both ways. It's that compromise as well. When you've got the compromise, Barry, as well, they'll work with you more. So again, it's all about putting the trust and the faith in the people around you spiritually as well. No, she comes through. Okay, that's fine. Just ask questions, write questions down, and then have an half an hour session. Put 5 questions out there, see what happens, even if it's on the app or anything. EVP, doesn't matter. Whatever best way works for you, that you're getting the link and the communication. Back to Tash. Thanks for all these great questions, folks, as well. You find there are always about 5 spirits in the house on a daily basis. You've tried the shop hours, but get more insights if you ignore them. Yeah. Yeah, again, if they're not friends and family, I would just say be gone, Tasha. If you're not friends and family and you don't want them there, just be gone. Do you know what I mean? And then your spiritual team should come in and around and protect you on that as well. Moving on to our Janice, but great question, that. Hello, Justin. I'm sorry if I've not got down to other people there. I will try and get through as many as I can. There are quite a few spirits in the building, says Janice. The flats are always so hard to do clearances because there's a lot of energies obviously floating around from top, middle to bottom, or it's so hard to seal, so hard to wrap up and protect. So basically, I always have to do the whole building or the whole land or the whole block, the whole street, that type of scenario as well. And there's been a lot of deaths. Lady that comes through near her birthday, the perfume they don't anymore. You had one picture that took of her. So yeah. Again, if you can send me that and upload it, and we'll put it on here later on. Put it in the comments box as well. What have you captured? What photographs have you come across as well, folks? Your evidence. What evidence have you come across that's been mind blowing? And I always say it is mind blowing because any piece of evidence is a response. It can be as small or as large as anything as well. Hope you're okay. I'm all good. How can you tell the spirits to leave your bedroom, please, fella? I would always safely say when I'm going to bed and sleep at night, again, if you're not friends and family, be gone. To me, that's you giving your signal to your team, your guides, people that look after you within your family members to push them out. I always ask them to wait outside as well. You will acknowledge them at a later date. I always say I will get back to you on a Sunday. The experience is there, it's respect. I will acknowledge you as and when I'm ready, but please be open to receive my wishes. If that's not done, I'll just ask my guy to push them out and seal and lock up. I always put golden light around the house, or a white light around the house, 20 foot above it, 20 foot below it. You can double shield it. You can put it on 3 or 4 layers. You can put it on 5 layers. It doesn't matter. Again, it's all about the experience of what works for you as well. So the more stronger an energy that wants to communicate with you and be seen, be heard, and the dominant to get their message over, even if you're saying it's not the right time, it's not the right place, you've got to be in control. It's all about being in control, Barry. Hello, Jess. Hope you're all right. Missed you. Hope you're fine. Please rewatch as well, Jess, if you've just been sitting in the background or you've been getting unwinding from work and all that as well. The most scary thing that you've ever had was a ghost walk through me, takes your breath away. You had to stand for a few minutes. This is what I'm saying about. And sometimes when that happens as well, it's like when it walks right through your aura, it's walked right through your energy pack. So as it does that, your shivers, your quivers, anything like that, you have to not re-shield yourself, but you have to re-energize yourself, where it's like a pin in a balloon. So sometimes when the spirits come too close and you're not expecting it, it's just walked through your personal space of energy, your battery pack, your surrounding of what you are. It's just virtually walked right through you. So it's going to affect you more, where you're going to virtually feel that scenario of taking your breath away as well. I've seen it so many times where spirits have tried to jump in and trance through me or trance through a member of the public, and it's like, no, it's not the right time and right place. If you're okay to work with us, don't just do it and come in along and bombard and do it. So again, it's about, please don't do that again. Once you've experienced, I feel like you will learn from that. You will learn how to sense prior to a hot or a cold energy approaching you. And then you can wrap yourself up, protect yourself quite quick, shield yourself much quicker prior to that happening as well. Let's see this one. In and around making them limits, it's your house, it's your 4 walls, you're in control. So again, visually put the white light, golden bubble around it, white light around it, 20 foot below, 20 foot out wide of it. It's about that protection as well. If you feel that somebody's trying to chip away or send negative thoughts or send negative vibes to you, it's all about shielding and protecting. You can do so many things where people won't understand what's going on prior to it as well. So there's other people out there that might begrudge you a certain thing, or there's people out there that might have an axe to grind for no reason. They might be jealous of you or anything like that. It's about just smile, wish them good luck, because it repels. So it doesn't matter what comes your way, they're sending negative vibrations. When you smile, send the positivity back at them, it'll always crush the negativity. Again, but it works in tangent. Where there's positive, there's negative. Where there's negative, there's positive. So again, certain times some people can open portals by mistake. That's a very, very tough one to deal with, but you've got to understand how these people are opening and closing portals. Not basically closing, I would never close a portal, but some people just don't realize what they're dealing with sometimes. You okay, Barry? You're more than welcome. Oh, jumped too far there, excuse me. Janice, you certainly know when you're going somewhere. Yeah, you get that gut intuition, don't you? And again, I always say, like busy malls or shopping centres as well, you know when you've walked through somebody's energy or you've walked past somebody and you're like, did not like that, did not experience, they don't give out good vibes. Same things with spirits as well. You get to know positive and negative, work with it, ask them, ask your mind, ask your team, gut intuition, go with it. Tasha, there seems to be more activity in general. And also as well with that, Tash, if you think about it, we've not been able to go out the house for 12 months. All right, I think a couple of invests, September. These negative energies or these weighted energies or these mischievous, cheeky energies were like, you can't come here, you can't do this, you can't do that. But they don't realise what you can do and do the house clearances from distance and stuff, this, that, and the other. But again, they will push it to the back. They're, to me, sitting back and being very smug at the moment, a lot of energies. So they've had their time. They've put a lot of weight on people this year. They've thrived off people's misfortunes. A lot of spirit energies there that have thrived on the situation where they've fed off their battery pack, be it if they've wanted them drained. They've drained the people this year. They've drained a lot of people in and around the four walls, because that's how they fuel themselves, is they will drain somebody to drive their own energies and spread it further around. So if you've got an energy that somebody's possibly been suffering with depression, they will build and build and build and take it to the limit until that person turns the corner. They will put a lot of weight on that person and a lot of stresses and strains as well. So sometimes some people just have to open the windows, let everything in. And what they do is when you start to repel it, you'd be surprised. But to me, there's a lot of energies out there that's virtually like been really, really happy on this time and this period that everyone's gone through. They really, really have a lot of energies that's not of good nature have enjoyed what's gone on. So they've thrived, but it's going to turn. It can't keep going in this direction, as we know there is light at the end of the tunnel as well. And I am hearing a tone and a pitch going on from side to side at the moment. So there's energy changing at the moment. To me, this new chapter we're stepping in is unbelievable. It's more of our turn now, as soon as we can get back up and out there as well. You could feel it as well, noticing it more, because in general seems the pandemic has upped it. Yeah, and I hadn't even read that part of that question as well, Tash. But that it's definitely upped it. It's fed off the back of people, basically. So there's been people in the family arguing and arguing and arguing, and it's like, oh, I'm loving this. It's just building itself. So the energy builds off that, spiritually builds off it as well. Angelique, it is a weird feeling. I do presume you won't feel like somebody's just walked through you. Thank you for sharing. Much appreciated. Again, it is on Keep On Chatting platform on the YouTube channel as well. I know there's a lot of people that tune in on there, and you like to rewatch. That's great. I thought you would. George, good evening. How scares you? But what I want you to do, Georgia, is just basically step back past that now and go, do you know what? You're not going to affect me. You're not going to give me them sensations anymore, because that's what I was talking about. It will know that you will want to stand back and not go in there or step a foot forward into it. It's about being more positive. When you're putting the positives and stepping over into that threshold of a room or a house or a kitchen that you don't like, just go, yeah, I'm bringing more positivity in and around. It repels. So it pushes it away because it'll feel more uncomfortable around you than you feel around it or thing or entity, energy, shapeshifter, whatever's going on, it won't be as happy. So you've got to put your positivity in and around that to make it more vibrant. The more positivity you bring to the table, that will repel and cheese it off, but it'll go elsewhere where you're around. So if you step into that kitchen, it might go up and sit in the back bedroom, it might go and sit in the next door neighbour's house, it might go and sit down by the bottom of the field until you've gone. All right. But again, that's what you bring to the table. You put your stamp, you put your energy, and you burst your energy out there. The more you glow, the more you're in charge of. Well, that's a great experience in there, and that's what it's all about. So that's how you can deal with it. Hello, paranormal peeps. Oh, Jennifer's just tuning in. You still love it there, though, yeah? Always keeps you entertained. It certainly does when you've got a busy, active house. But again, it's all about being in that control, Tash, and that's what you need to work on. And that's what, if it's not right time and right place, say it. These experiences are all giving you some little bits of guidance, and I don't preach what I say. I'm just trying to give you some of the experiences that we've dealt and we've come across to share with you. So when you're coming across these experiences of your asylums, your castles, your graveyards, your vicarage, or anything, and going across anywhere and walking around, just try some of the tips that other people have come across and mentioned on here tonight and how they've dealt with certain things as well. Got to go. Enjoy. Well done. Thank you for being part of the evening. We are coming up to an hour. I'll try and get through anybody. They drained me out, made me feel well tired as well. Again, put the sage on, open the windows on a Saturday morning, get new energies in. Again, put the sage on, just basically lightens the energy up. It will not like it. Other people use other types of incense sticks. So whatever works for you, it's your house, you're in charge. The other night I came in, wasn't a bad day, wasn't a brilliant day, but I put some sage on. So just like the atmosphere of I don't want to bring today's energy in and around my own four walls. So again, it's looking after your environment as well, and you'll be amazed how it works. You've cleansed a lot. Yeah, and also as well, they will take you to the limit when you're tired. So what I always try and say to people is know your limits and your cut-off points in and around your experiences, where don't let yourself, when people are like, oh, I'm thirsty, oh, you're dehydrated because you're thirsty. It's that, have a drink of water every hour, have a drink of water every other hour, have a bottle of water. But it's recharging, it's replenishing. So you're in control. It's all about you being in control. When you're in control, it's just amazing how spirits virtually sit up and take note of you. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to help you with as well, helping you when you're tired and you're shattered. They will say, oh, we'll take advantage now of a certain situation. Most definitely, Linda. Positive energy is going to happen soon. Again, it's what we've talked about and what we've touched on is other people won't stay in the house. That's their mechanism. That's their coping mechanism. Not here to change that. What I'm trying to say is somebody should stay there overnight as well, in and around to. It's your location, it's your experiences. Your friends and family and loved ones have got to say, well, no, this like the full, I am staying here. Do you know what I mean? But if they feel it's like weighted and suppressive and all this, that, and the other, or there's a lot going on there and it's busy and they can't deal with that. It's just about they need to be on top of it as well. So you could say, come in with an open mind, be very positive. Here's a nice protection crystal, just keep it in your purse, keep it in your pocket. You'd be surprised. You can put a crystal in the room without people knowing. You can put protection crystals on a cabinet, on the windowsill. Again, what works for you as well, that's best for you as well, Tash. Just try it and see what comes across. It's all about setting and balancing where there's got to be a balance. Usually, sometimes as well, some certain types of homes are positive. They've been rolled up all week. Certain homes have been positive. Excuse me. Certain types of homes and houses have a positive side to the house and a negative as well. So again, you can have a balance. I did a house clearance many years ago in Runcorn. I couldn't put my finger on what was right and what was wrong there. Again, it's experience, and I thought I need to ask my team what's going on here. So my team said, step outside. So I stepped outside. When we arrived there, it was pitch black. When I stepped outside and I was there, I was in like virtually the positive side of the house and the property. It was under a pylon, so it was underneath electrical pylon, so the cables run over the house. So one side of the house was bringing a lot of positivity and one side of the house was negativity. So it's just like two different portals, two different sides of it were split virtually by this electric pylon line running right over the house. But when I arrived there, I couldn't see it, couldn't hear it. But when I went outside for a break, it was raining. You could hear the actual heightenedness of the electric field, but it was pitch black in the middle of winter. But that's about understanding. It's not just the house, the land. You've got to take on board what's on the area. But there's a positive side to the house and a negative side to the house. And you can understand why every maybe 6, 7 or 8 months, it has to be balanced and cleansed again, because there's a lot going on in and around it as well. I would never personally live anywhere near them things, because I'd just be like, I'd be wired. So I'd just be buzzing myself, I think, with the energy. But try that, Tash, and ask your friends, family, or anyone want to stay over. Just say, look, can you try it? And have a little test. You know, they might run out scared at 2 o'clock in the morning, but you give it a go. Don't repel from it as well. See what our Jennifer's saying. Yeah, past couple of weeks, it's going off balance, dizzy. Yeah. Hard to breathe, that energy lately, big energy shifts. I think it's coming into our time now. Our energies are, imagine the positivity that we're going to be putting out there. Imagine the places that a lot of people haven't been to this year. I know it's, you know, your nightclubs and all that, and your restaurants and your race courses and all that. Can you imagine the energy that people are going to be putting back into these places soon as well? So they are really going to be very busy. Like Chester, it was quiet even prior to Christmas. I'm 8 miles from Chester. Never in my lifetime did I thought I'd walk down the street of Chester and it'd be empty. You know, it's just, it is bizarre. Oh, Linda said hello, Jennifer. Oh, skip down too many. All guidance experiences. Again, try what we've covered. See how you get on as well, folks. I'll just try and get through the comments quickly. I've took enough of your time up, I think, anyway. All your helping guidance has helped me, Gary. Yeah, it's like how I feel, Tash. I haven't read the rest of the comment yet, just bear with me. It's like I'm virtually stepping into your house and going, look, this is this lady's house. She wants to live here. You're more than welcome as and when, but you need to be asked in. Basically, you just wouldn't let people in off the street. So spiritually, you shouldn't just let everybody else in as well. But they are very testing at the moment, and it's coming to the end of the test as well. And it's not about struggling with it, Tash. It's all about, I always say, you always try and be professional first. You're not guided to the left or the right. You're trying to stay down the middle with spirits and what's going on. If something's not playing the game, bat and ball, then that's when you go, right, enough's enough, see you later. So you've got to know the boundaries and the limits for yourself about the understanding of working with spirit. So if you're sitting there watching a film, you don't want any knocks and bangs and bumps going on in the kitchen or something smashing and falling off the workplace. You go, no, my time, my house, my rules. And that's what it's about, setting the ground rules down with spirit in a nice way, professional way, respectful way. I'm going to have to visit anyway, Tash. Yeah. And the Santo, you use that as well. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people use different things that works for them, and that's what it's all about. Anybody on here tonight, talk amongst yourselves, add each other on Facebook, and share your experiences as well. Sometimes you get a little pain in the front of your head, like a headache. Ask your team, your guide, to take it off if you not want to work. I always say to Spirit, I'm not available to work now. It's my time. My office isn't open. My office is closed. That's the control. So your experiences, you've got to work with your experiences out there, folks, to be in control. And that's what we're trying to cover and touch. And tell me about your experiences as well. Yeah, you've got to come and stay now, George, and that's what it's about. I'll certainly head down there and try that as well. So you put potted sage plants all the way around. I tried to grow some sage about this time last year. It didn't happen, but to me, that's because of the situation, the current thing that we're up to at the moment in with what's gone on the last 12 months as well. But I can understand why the sage I planted didn't grow. I can safely understand that. Your house is 300 years old. Cemetery next door. Tunnels, yeah. Coal pits. Scooby-Doo Central. With the graveyard as well, Tash, visualising putting a wall up in between yourself. I have another person that works in different ways quite close to me. I seal the bottom of my property. So I seal it. So basically visualize putting your own spiritual wall up. So you're repelling a certain energy, not because you don't want it, you're repelling an energy to protect your own environment. It works better for you. So I don't want that person's energy that lives over the back from me. I don't want that repelling this way, because I know I work in my own energy that works best for me. So I will put like a 30, 40 foot wall up spiritually and say, keep that person's energy there, because I work in my own energy that I like to work in. So you're welcome. Come and visit. Certainly will do. Definitely. And I forgot the date of that as well. Right. Any more questions before we go? We've been on an hour and 15 minutes. Don't want to take your time up or your night. I'm trying to explain where we talked about your experiences is because I wanted to touch on what we've touched on tonight. Basically, is when you are experiencing and receiving spirits, it's about how you deal with things that counts moving forwards, and you can move on yourselves. Work with your experiences is what I'm trying to say. You'll be amazed how it works. Again, the next chapter. Right, I'm going to sign off. Please stay safe, and wishing you all loads of love and white light. Work with energies. Again, work in your own time of how you best work as well. You don't have to work spiritually as a medium. It's about working and understanding of why certain things are going on. Again, there's always a right time and a right place, I say. I'm going to say good night. I know we're getting on now, and I've been on since, I think, 7 o'clock on and off. Good night. God bless. Stay safe. We're nearly there. Light at the end of the tunnel. Open mic hour next Thursday night. Please come and interact. Again, it's your hour. Again, thanks for all the questions and all the interactions as well. It's the insight. Talk to each other. Work with people. Ask people the questions as well. I'm only giving you 12 years of what I've interacted with. I've interacted with things prior to that. This has more been around what I've experienced in the last 12 years as well. So that's the understanding of what you've experienced is the same things over the last 10 or 12 years I've come across. So work with it, push yourselves, push your team, ask the questions spiritually. You don't have to say it out loud. So stay safe. Night, folks.